Pythagoras' theorem. For all right-angled triangles, the square on the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares on the other two sides. Right, we're going to have a look at that. Now the hypotenuse is the longest side on the triangle and it's always opposite the right angle. What does it all mean? Now here's our right angled triangle, so we're going to look at the rules. This is what you need to remember. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. So there's our a squared, b squared and c squared will be the longest side which is opposite the right angle. So let's show what we mean by square numbers. So on this length of the triangle the measurement is 4, a equals 4. So we're going to do 4 times 4 to get our answer. And as you can see that would mean the square would be broken down into 4 by 4. And at the bottom we're going to have b equals 3 and we need to find what c is. So we're going to work out these squares. So a squared is going to give us 16 and b squared is going to give us 9. Now we need to add them up, which gives us a total of 25. So c squared should be 25 and that's when we need to use our square root button to find the answer, which is 5, and as you can see that square is 5 by 5. So we're going to look for the longest side on this triangle, which is the hypotenuse, and this is what we need to remember: square, square, add square root. So our a equals 12, so if we square that gives us 144, and b equals 4, if we square that gives us 16. Now we don't know what c is, so what we need to do is add these two figures together, which gives us a total of 160. Then use your calculator, press square root 160 and the answer is 12.6 rounded to 1 decimal place. You may need to find the shorter side of the right angled triangle, so what you need to remember here: square, square, subtract, square root. So we can't square a, that's what we're looking for, so we square c, gives us 196. We square b, gives us 16. So now we take 16 away from 196, subtract that, that gives us 180. So we'd use our calculator, square root button 180 gives us 13.4 to 1 decimal place. You may be asked, is this a right angled triangle? So you cannot just write yes or no, you need to prove it by using Pythagoras' theorem. So for this one we're going to use square, square, add square root. So let's square a, which is 24, gives us 576, and we square 7, which gives us 49. So we're going to add them up together, which gives us 625. Put that square root 625 into your calculator. The answer is 25, so for this question the answer is yes, it is a right angled triangle. Now you might have a maths problem that involves an isosceles triangle, and what you need to remember is these triangles have a line of symmetry which gives us two right angled congruent triangles. So here you might need to use Pythagoras' theorem to solve the bigger problem. Here we have an exam style question, quite a typical one. A ladder is 12 metres long and reaches 10 metres up the wall. To be safe it has to be 2.5 metres away from the wall. So the question would be, is the ladder safe? So you are not allowed to write yes or no, that will be no points. You need to prove the question. So we've drawn in our triangle here, our right angled triangle, this measurement being 12, this measurement being 10. And looking at that, because that's the longest side, we now know the formula we need for this one is square, square, subtract, square root. So a square of 12 gives us 144. A square of 10 gives us 100. So if we subtract that, that leaves us with 44. Square root button, 44, gives us a lovely long answer there, but obviously we're going to round that up and to 1 decimal place, giving us 6.6 metres. So your answer would be No, it's not safe because it's 6.6 meters away. So let's recap. Pythagoras' theorem only works for right-angled triangles. Now remember, the isosceles contains 2. So to find the hypotenuse, we use the formula square, square, add square root. And when we need to find any of the shorter sides, we use square, square, subtract square root.